Today, football won in Africa Cup of Nations. If you watched the match, you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, welcome, I'm here to talk about it with you. I'm Ezosu, here in Ezosu Football at YouTube, and I love football, and I watched almost every single game from Africa Cup of Nations, especially in the playoffs. There was just one match I didn't watch. I watched everything else. And today, it was a great game between Senegal and Morocco. Morocco was the best team in the tournament, but today they were not themselves, especially in the first half versus Senegal. Morocco was too afraid, too cautious. They were not doing the high press, the good combinations. Even Brahim Diaz and Hakimi barely did something progressive in that first half. Morocco were not themselves. And on the other hand, Senegal was more active and more proactive. Because from what I've seen, even versus Jordan and stuff like that, Senegal was more cold and more solid. Today, they were taking the possession, creating chances, being dangerous. And in the second half, Morocco came in way stronger, and from the 60th minute until Senegal made subs, Morocco was superior. But after the subs, Senegal came back on top. Morocco were not able to compete with Senegal after they made the subs in the second half. And then there was the case, or the cases, of the match where football won. The gods of football, and perhaps the gods of FM as well, came in today to make truth happen. So, first, let's talk about the goal that was cancelled that would put Senegal on the lead at like 88th minute, if I'm not mistaken. In my opinion, there was no foul. I think most people will share my opinion because Hakimi is the first to make contact with Sek. I think it was Sek, if I'm not mistaken. And then Sek was just trying to take the Hakimi arms out of the way. Hakimi slips, and then the ref says it's a foul. But then Sek gets the header, the ball goes to the post, comes back to the box, and somebody from Senegal puts it in. The ref blows the whistle. It's a foul. I think it's super bad from the referee. The referee already had made a mistake. For example, in the first half, where Lamine Camara he makes a sliding tackle. He does not touch the opponent. Not only it's a foul, it's also a yellow card. So, kinda, we could see the quality of the ref not really being in there, you know. And also, that was a mistake. And the goal cancelled was also a mistake. And the VAR could not participate. VAR could not intervene because the referee blew the whistle before the ball went into the goal. And I think that's a really not efficient protocol, not efficient way to do things because there are infrastructures, people that can correct the referee. But because the ball, or because the referee blew the whistle before the ball went into the goal, now the infrastructure and the people that can help the referee can't intervene. I think that's really silly, right? And in cases like this, the VR should interfere. Like, no, like, I don't care if the ref blew the whistle before or after the ball went into the goal. It's like, it's an obvious mistake. Senegal was being the best team, and now it's being punished by a bad refereeing decision. And if there was no VAR, we can't do anything about it. But there is VAR, so it's so silly that we can't do anything because the ref blew the whistle before the ball into the goal. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? And then the more controversial was the penalty. The penalty, if I was a referee, I will not blow the penalty, but I don't disagree with the decision. There was the touch on Brahim Diaz. Diouf grabbed him on his shoulder, but he didn't push him. I think Brahim Diaz felt the hand of Diouf and he fell backwards, so he cheesed the penalty basically. But I've seen that million of times, so it's a penalty, it's fair. Like, I disagree with it, but I'm not against it. I've seen it happen more times. Diouf had no business touching Diaz because he's way taller than Diaz, so he didn't have the necessity to perturb the action of Brahim Diaz. It was really silly as well. But Brahim Diaz also cheesed it. And then the penalty, I think it's fair. I don't think it's a bad decision from the referee. What is a bad decision was the goal cancelled. And then, of course, we had the show. The show in the show, Senegal players leave the pitch in ordered by their manager. Okay, the manager was the one telling, and the players were going away really, really mad. Mendy, the keeper, was applauding. He was really mad too. A lot of people were mad. There was one hero, Sadio Mane. He had a cool head. He asked the team to come back into the field. He even went into the locker room to bring some remaining players, and he was really smart. First reason, I even said that. Guys, first I was like, yeah, but then I was like, hold on. Because they might miss the penalty, or Mendy, the keeper for Senegal, he might save the penalty, or the taker of the penalty might sky it, so it's not over yet. Or, even though Morocco scores the goal, there is still a chance for Senegal to do so and tie the goal, right? Always, you have to believe in all possibilities, right? And not only that, if Senegal does not come back to the match, they will be banned from African and most likely world competitions for at least 2 years. I can totally, because for the organizers don't care who win the match or the competition. They just want the show to keep going. The show must go on. And if you have one team leaving the pitch, that's a bad image for the tournament. Other teams might do that in the future, and they have to be harshly punished. And it's a disrespect to the organizers. And it's like the gladiators in Rome. It's worse to leave the pitch than to do a bad performance, right? So I think Sadio Mane, super cool-headed, very important, a real captain. And I think the Moroccan players were really wrong, you know? Because they knew that it was unfair. Not the penalty, but the goal being cancelled. Because if the goal wasn't cancelled, and then imagine everything goes the same, which it never happens, but imagine, then it would be penalty, goal, 1-1, extra time. 1-1, extra time, we good. And they knew, it was obvious. They knew that. Hakimi knew that. Everybody knew that the goal should not be cancelled. So the big man, the Giga Chad, the respectable action for the Moroccan players will be to not take the penalty, or instead of taking the penalty to the goal, put it sideways, or make a pass to the keeper. Instead, they made a wheel in the middle. They made a circle in the middle of the pitch, and the camera was really close, and we could hear the players talking. And Nakim was like, "If we win, we win." So he was not respecting the unfairness, the unfair treatment that Senegal went through. And Brahim Diaz himself, he was a big rat, because he didn't. And I say rat, maybe it's too much of a statement, but hear me out, because he was playing really bad. This match, even though he was the best goal scorer in the tournament, he was really bad in this match. Him and Hakimi, especially in the first half, but also in the second half, they were not very present. Also, to merit of Senegal, of course. But then, Brahim Diaz, he was playing poorly, he cheesed the penalty, and he was screaming at the ref to go to the VAR, and he was the one to then take the penalty. And not only all that, he was so giddy, he was so happy, he was feeling so superior, he thought the game was done. He tries the most disrespectful movement when taking a penalty, the good old Panenka. And it was so bad that Mendy, if you watch the replay, when Brahim Diaz takes the shot, Mendy gets surprised. Because Mendy was going to his right, if I'm not mistaken, and then he just catches the ball. He was surprised. He thought Brahim Diaz would take a good shot. Now, also to be fair, Brahim Diaz was not focused, because there was 15, maybe 20 minutes between the time where the penalty was, where the ref blew the whistle for the penalty, and actually the penalty. And right before the penalty was being taken, there was some problem. The ref was talking to the sideline, the players were paying attention to the sideline. There was there was a perturbance. And not only do 20 minutes have passed, Brahim Diaz was focused, and then he lost his focus. But at the end of the day, he's a freaking professional. He receives a bunch of money to do what he does. So Like, Ronaldo wouldn't miss that. Messi wouldn't miss that. Mbappe, Neymar wouldn't miss that, I think. Right? And not only that, so they miss the penalty, things go crazy, extra time. Boom! Papaguier, freaking missile on a poor defensive action of Hakimi as well. Hakimi was running together with Papaguier and he kinda lets him go. He doesn't make a tackle, he doesn't go close, he lets him go. Papaguier, bro, what a rocket. You could feel the emotion, you could feel the rage or the motivation. I don't know what he was feeling, something, that's for sure. And Papaguier freaking missile into the goal. No chance for Bono. By the way, Bono, what a freaking keeper. Come back to Europe. You deserve to play in Europe, not in freaking Saudi, okay? But goal. Goal. Senegal winning 1-0. And on top of that, Morocco already had done all the subs. 6 subs, you got one extra in extra time, right? Igamane, that came in as a sub, got injured. And Morocco finishes the match with 10 players. If I'm not mistaken, they played the whole second half of extra time with 10 players. And this is the result, in my opinion, of course, of the bad faith action of the Moroccan team. Because they knew it was an unfair, the situation, not the penalty. The penalty is okay. But the goal cancelled was unfair and wrong. And instead of them taking that action to correct the situation, they were like, if we win, we win. Fuck it, we're gonna win. Hee hee. Right? They had the opportunity to be big men, Giga Chad, respectable. And they were rats. They belittled themselves. And the thing is, it's better to win. It's better to lose like a man than to win like a rat. And sometimes in football, people want to win the prize money, they want to be in the history books, they want to do anything just to win. But that's not the way it goes. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And the way that Morocco did, not just that moment, but the first half, that attitude was negative. Not bad, but negative, you know what I'm saying? And then it was kind of bad in the end of the match, where they should have gave the ball away. Some people might say Brahim Diaz missed the penalty on purpose. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He tried to panic. He tried to make fun, quote unquote, of Senegal, and he missed. If it was on purpose, he wouldn't be sad. He wouldn't be crying. There would be like a decision, and he wouldn't make a shot on target. He would make a pass, or it goes sideways. I've seen that happen before. Very rarely, but I've seen that happen before, where a team knew that the other team was being unfairly treated and they missed the penalty. I've seen that before. And that was not the case. That was not the case. He chooses the penalty. He had the chance and his team to correct the situation, and he didn't took it. He misses the penalty. Senegal scored on extra time, and one of the players of Morocco that came in gets injured, and they have to play the rest of the match with 10 people. For me, that's God, all possibilities, the spirits. We were in Africa, they're very spiritual, you know what I'm saying? Working in favor of the Senegal team. Because they deserve to win in terms of what was played. Their attitude was also better, and they were unfairly treated. And on top of that, Morocco players had the chance to correct that, and Hakim was like, no, if we win, we win. And Brahim Diaz, he was asking for the penalty. He was smiling when he was about to take the penalty, or when the ref said it was penalty, you know? And in the end of the day, this is a good example. To not go higher than yourself just because there is a chance to do so. If there's a chance to correct the situation, do it. It's better to lose like a man than to win like a rat. In the end of the day, Morocco actually then played pretty well in the second half of the extra time. Even with just 10 people, they played well. They went forward. NSC almost scored a goal. You know what I'm saying? They got a ball on the bar, but also Sherif almost scored a goal, and Bono had great save, so it was way more balanced. And while I was watching the game, in the extra time, I was like, if Morocco wins now, I'm happy. If Morocco wins now, I'm happy because they're playing well. They're not cheesing out of this. You know what I'm saying? So, in the end of the day, football won today. By the way, great tournament. I'll make a video talking about the tournament, looking at the group stages and the knockouts. It was very good. Nobody does it better when it comes to vibes than Africa Cup of Nations. I freaking love it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Use the links in the description to reach more of my content, to catch me live, and I think it's deserved. For Senegal and Morocco, they had the chance to lose like a man, but at the end of the day, they lost like a rat. Thank you for watching, and I see you next time.